going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just went ahead and saw some, I guess you could call it information on how the CEOs actually handled a decent amount of, I guess, decisions behind the scenes with Splitgate 2. And let me tell you guys something. I really hope that the CEOs kind of learned their lesson with how everything has been handled with this game, because if they continue to repeat these same exact problems, I don't know if Splitgate 2 is going to have another chance at survival. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 Money Eastern Time. Everything between Splitgate, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Ark Raiders. You best believe you'll hear all that information on this channel. And of course, last but not least, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And actually, since this is going to be my second upload of the day, I should be live right now. So of course, if you guys want to go ahead and chat up about all this juicy stuff, by all means, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I've been waiting quite some time to see if any developers would speak up on anything in regards to the Splitgate 2 development cycle. If anything's going on, how things were, handled behind the scenes. And it seems we finally got a tad bit of information. It started off here with Blaze over on Twitter. And of course, if anybody doesn't remember Blaze, he was one of the level designers who got laid off, a little while ago, who put together a lot of awesome maps within this game. But he says, free advice. If your studio strives to hire the best talent that the industry has to offer, make sure that you do not undervalue their intuition and experience they bring. Their experience is your data, and being reactive should not be your plan A. Now, Blaze did go on and say, this isn't directed towards anyone specifically. I see this almost everywhere, but I don't see it talked about enough. Now, again, even though he's saying it's not about Splitgate, let's be real, I think we all know it's about this current situation, and I saw a response down in the comments section by Ohio saying, this must be related to Splitgate 2, re-entering beta today. And Blaze responded saying, this is more directed towards the AAA space as a whole. And Ohio puts this little, meme here saying, I hear you loud and clear, man. Very true statement. And again, I think, anybody who reads this post is going to think exactly this, especially since it was posted right around the time of, again, Splitgate announcing they're re-entering the beta phase. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't end there. Blaze actually went over to a post that the End of Forever was going ahead and discussing under. And again, for anybody who doesn't know, End of Forever, he is the current community manager when it comes to Splitgate 2, and he is an absolutely phenomenal individual. Always very open with the community, talking to absolutely everyone. So again, no hate whatsoever. And I don't think Blaze was trying to show any hate either. But what was said in this post honestly kind of exposes a decent amount of what's going on behind the scenes, and further cements the previous post I just showcased to you guys. But as you can see right here, and this is in a discussion, talking about the map designs and how they should handle portals, and End of Forever was discussing, how they're trying to, branch out and do what the community has been asking for. People are begging for more portals within Splitgate 2, and that right there is what they're going to go ahead and try to achieve. But Blaze had some feedback, and in this feedback, he stated a little something, as you can see right here. Not to be rude, but an experienced designer doesn't have to QA in situations like this to understand the outcome, and results of testing are isolated to a specific time frame and slice of the player base. It's not like the direction was overlooked by level design, it was overruled. And that right there starts to shed a little bit of light on why certain things happened the way they did, and it makes me question even further about other aspects of Splitgate 2. If a lot of the stuff that came down to level design was getting overruled by a lot of, these very experienced developers, I wonder what else they had, to say about this overall situation. Did they have something to say about a battle royale being introduced into Splitgate? Did they think that was a good idea? What about going ahead and, trying to branch off and add in factions? And some of these things I don't mind. Like, the factions have grown on me. I'm actually starting to slowly enjoy them. And, other things aren't that bad. I don't think the BR is the worst thing in the world. But after seeing what Blaze has to say here, it really makes you question, a lot, almost everything that's been going on within this game. And all I gotta say is I agree with Blaze on a lot of, what he said in his tweets. He's speaking the truth. If you are indeed going to invest a lot of money into obtaining a lot of industry legends, really talented individuals who know exactly what they're doing, who have been in this scene for ages, who have been cooking up tons of different games and have tons of experience with launching games, maintaining games throughout their life cycle, how to handle live serve, all of these aspects. You're putting money into these individuals. You should be taking advantage of every last bit of that. I know I would personally, if I'm putting that much cash into bringing on these, really talented people on board, I am going to, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but I'm going to abuse that. I'm going to abuse that power. I have tons of goats. I'm going to take that feedback. I'm going to soak up all of that information, all that knowledge, and, allow them to partially push as well. And we can put together a very solid project. If I didn't, want them, I would have, hired some other people that would probably be a little bit cheaper and just do what I want to do, right? And just go across my own vision. But picking up people of this caliber, you should be soaking up that info, right? You should be really hammering that home and letting them, again, do what they do best. And from the looks of things, it looks like they didn't do that at all. Now, this isn't the end of the world, right? Mistakes were made. And obviously, it seems like a lot of the devs who have been laid off still love a 1047. They're not trying to send any hate their way. They might have some concerns and, so on and so forth. The fact that Blaze, isn't even a part of the team anymore, still is trying to give his helpful feedback to help them improve upon, some of these changes for the future, even though he's not even getting paid by them anymore. To me personally, shows that the development team at 1047 isn't bad. People always try to put a bad reputation on these guys, even the CEOs, when in reality, they truly aren't awful. You know what I'm saying? And people are losing so much faith that Splitgate isn't going to thrive, when in reality, it does have a little bit more life under it. For example, I actually saw this post by Nero Cinema saying, after the heartbreak of X-Defiant, I'm worried about trying games like this. Splitgate had hype, but it's pretty much over already. And End of Forever actually responds saying, I get the wariness, but at least 1047 Games doesn't have a publisher like Ubisoft. In fact, we don't have a publisher at all, as we self-publish. There's no one over our heads able to pull the plug, so to speak. And again, this right here proves the concept of Splitgate 2 and why I always have so much faith and, so much hope for the future of this overall game, because the potential is there. And it doesn't seem like we are rushed whatsoever. But I'm going to say it again. The CEOs, or even whoever, even if the devs have been pulling some of these strings, they have to go ahead and first and foremost open up to the community, but also open up to the goated developers that they have on their team. You know what I'm saying? They still have people working for them who are extremely talented, and they shouldn't suppress them whatsoever. They should allow them to open up and truly express themselves in every way possible. Because if they could bring all of their talent, that would be phenomenal. Why have these awesome people, but only have them working at 50% of their, capabilities? Why not let them go the full 100% and truly let them go beast mode within this game? They have to go ahead and accept some of these things, or else the relaunch of Splitgate 2, I don't think is going to go very well. They have to have a solid vision. They have to be open with their dev team right now, open with the community, and truly, as they already stated, put their heads down and go into grind mode. I want to see this game succeed. I freaking enjoy Splitgate 2 so unbelievably much that even after all of this news, I'm still grinding. As I stated in the beginning of this video, I'm probably streaming right now, going for camos. Even though we know that we're probably not going to be getting any more new content, I'm still sitting here grinding through camos, grinding through challenges, because I just simply enjoy the gameplay. Splitgate 2 has so much just freaking potential packed behind it that is just waiting to be unleashed. They just have to make the right moves. And if they do, again, I'm going to say it, it's not going to be as big as all these massive AAA games, but they don't need that. They genuinely don't need that. They can have a more niche, smaller community, and they can still thrive. But they have to be able to, find a middle ground for a lot of the people out there so they can get that community, at that spot in the first place. And when they do so, then we could really start hopefully cooking. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And like I just said, if you guys want to catch any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, you can link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.